Hey, what's up guys? Josh Thomas from TheBitBlock here to bring you guys through our video review for Pikmin 3 on Wii U. And I gotta say, I cannot even begin to express how excited I am to talk with you guys about this game. I've been eagerly anticipating a new Pikmin title for so long that, to be honest, it feels nothing short of magical to see the game finally release. The gameplay here in Pikmin 3 is very similar to what we saw many years ago in the previous two games on the GameCube. The game doesn't really drastically change the core Pikmin concept, but because the gameplay is far from stale, I don't really look at this as being a negative aspect. Before we really get into things though, I do feel kind of a quick refresher of the basics of Pikmin is needed. Pikmin 3 puts you in control of three brave explorers from the planet Kopai. These tiny little characters have ventured off to find a source of food because sadly, their home planet is starving. Thankfully though, the mysterious planet that is home to the Pikmin is loaded with tons of mouth-watering delicious fruit. By befriending and patrolling the cute and ferocious little Pikmin, you'll take down loads of bizarre enemy creatures and gather fruit, which your ship then transforms into sweet succulent juice. Now at the end of the day, your captains will need to drink one container of that juice, so you'll need to keep a steady production flow of new fruit to avoid starvation. In my experience though, it's somewhat easy to always have fruit juice handy, so no need to really worry too much about that. Now of course, the Pikmin come in many colors and sizes. You can create more Pikmin by hauling enemy carcasses and pellets back to their onion. This time around, each Pikmin type lives inside of one onion, as opposed to your landing site being totally cluttered up with three of them. This improvement definitely makes things a bit more convenient, I think. So red Pikmin can take out foes faster, and they won't be harmed by fire. Blue Pikmin have gills and can follow you into the water without drowning. Yellow Pikmin use their ears to reach higher areas when you throw them. They're also impervious to electrical hazards. New to Pikmin 3 are the winged and rock Pikmin. The winged Pikmin are pink, and they are painfully adorable. Look at these guys. They also make the cutest noises ever. And they can fly, of course. So this means, you know, if you order these little guys to take something back to your base, they can fly over water and enemies, and basically they just kind of make it back faster without being harmed. You can even use these guys to hold up bamboo gates found in the worlds, which is pretty cool. Now rock Pikmin obviously have a tough exterior, because, you know, they're basically made out of rock. You even find them in a cave. This means that by throwing them, you can shatter glass barrier walls and even giant crystals that sometimes have fruit hidden inside. Using each Pikmin type for the proper obstacles and situations is definitely key to becoming a better captain and getting a job done more efficiently. It's lots of fun figuring out how to properly attack enemies and solve puzzles in the environments. However, don't let the seemingly complex nature of this game give you the impression that maybe it's too complicated for you. There are absolutely tons of strategical opportunities for more advanced players, but at the same time, I really think Pikmin 3 is designed so well that no matter who you are, there's a very enticing, exciting, playful feel to this game. Everything is so interesting that as long as you know the basic controls, I really believe just exploring and interacting with your Pikmin squad and trying to defeat the enemies is fun. And because it's fun, you'll keep wanting to play, and naturally you're going to become better and better. The game doesn't really hold your hand too much, and many of the techniques and information on how to play are found by collecting these little yellow data logs that were left behind by Captain Olimar for future explorers. They can definitely be helpful, but if you don't feel like picking them up, you don't have to. So it's this really nice way of explaining the game to the player. So let's talk about the controls, because I really feel like this is where Pikmin 3 starts to show off some of its unique new ideas. The game can be played with a variety of controllers. The options include Gamepad, Wii U Pro Controller, and the Wii Remote and Nunchuck. Out of all these options, I really feel the absolute definitive way to play Pikmin is with the pointer controls of the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, particularly the Wii Remote Plus and Nunchuck, because it's even more accurate. The precision is just like totally unmatched by the other control options. You're able to pinpoint exactly where you want to throw your Pikmin in a much more quick, intuitive fashion. When you're surrounded by a lot of enemies, or if you're interested in getting work done faster, the ability to point anywhere while moving your captain in a totally different direction than your cursor just comes in infinitely handy. The more basic analog controls of the gamepad or the Pro Controller just don't match up, and they feel a bit finicky by comparison. What's really cool though is you'll be using the gamepad even when you're using the Wii Remote controls. The gamepad acts as a very handy secondary co-pad controller Basically, there's a map of your location displayed on the screen, and by touching it and scrolling along the screen with your finger, you can really plan your next course of action much easier. Because you control 3 captains this time around, the ability to use all the information displayed on the gamepad to better manage what each captain is doing really brings real-time strategy games to a whole new level. Now, one of the really cool features about the gamepad is the fact that you can find a location on the map and then send your other characters there simply by clicking Go Here. That crew member will then automatically venture off in that direction. They'll even let you know when they've reached their destination, so that's pretty handy. In fact, if there are enemies on the way, they'll tell you that as well. So as you can imagine, sending one captain with maybe a group of yellow Pikmin over here, and then maybe another one with the blue Pikmin, you'll send them off into the water, and perhaps you're gonna stick close to the onion and get some work done around there. You can then switch back and forth and play around with all of them as they're scattered throughout the map, each taking on their own unique tasks. Pikmin 3 is definitely one of Nintendo's prettiest games. The visuals are not perfect. For example, some of the ground textures could certainly be a bit nicer in some areas, and as silly as it might sound, I kind of wish there was some sort of realistic-looking blades of grass on the ground. Also, sometimes you'll see like a leaf textured to the flat ground, which is not the greatest thing in the world. However, overall, when you look at the big picture, this game is gorgeous, and it features loads of impressive material shaders, character animation, and lighting effects. Seeing the lush environments of the Pikmin universe in HD really benefits the experience. Additionally, the higher resolution also makes it easier to see where each tiny Pikmin is and what it's doing. Naturally, one of the most interesting visual aspects of any Pikmin game are the frightening, silly, and just downright confusing creatures. Some return from previous games, while others are brand new, never before seen. The monsters that inhabit the world look great, and thanks to the added power of Wii U, you can really get a feel for their texture and their movement. They're slippery, and slimy, rocky, and fluffy. They all look great. Sadly, there's no Piklopedia this time around, so you can't view the enemy creatures like in Pikmin 2, which is kind of disappointing. You can, however, lock onto enemies to learn the name of their species. After that, you can shake the nunchuck controller to send your Pikmin squad charging after them. I'm really impressed with the lighting in this game too. In particular, these rainy days definitely showcase some nice material shaders. Literally everything appears soaking wet. Even the Bulborbs have rainwater dripping down their bodies, which is just kind of amazing to me. And speaking of water, it's seriously some of the nicest I've seen in any video game. As you move through the water, it even ripples in the direction of your captain, which just looks great. The dark caverns in the game really feature some impressive lighting as well. Pikmin 3 has a really beautiful soundtrack. Most of the music is kind of soothing and slow, which is exactly what you would want when exploring in this game. However, if a dangerous creature approaches you, an extra layer of more intense instruments is added to the music track. It's a pretty cool little subtle touch. There's also a lot of great ambient sound effects, like creatures chirping in the distance and the wind flowing through the trees. I do think the soundtrack was probably a little bit more varied and unique in Pikmin 2. There were some, really experimental music tracks in that game. Pikmin 3's soundtrack definitely seems more elegant than bizarre. To 100% complete the story mode and collect every piece of fruit, it will probably take you about 12 to 15 hours. I did find that Pikmin 3 was probably a little bit shorter than Pikmin 2 in my experience, and maybe about on par with the original game's length. If you feel unhappy with your performance, you can return to a previous day in the game and begin again from that day onward. So if you do that, you'll be looking at definitely a longer completion time. In addition to the main story mode, the title also offers up a challenge and bingo battle mode. Both of these are incredibly fun and quite addictive. So the challenge mode is divided up into 3 categories with 5 missions in each. There is collecting treasure, defeating tons of enemies, and also boss battle challenges. Now, while there might be fewer challenges than in Pikmin 2, they're actually more intricate, and they're designed in a way that you really can play them again and again, and you'll always be finding new ways to better your score in the time limit. These challenges can be played by yourself or cooperatively with a friend, and because of that, the added 2-player support really does kind of get you more mileage out of all these 15 challenge stages. You can even upload your high scores to an online leaderboard. Now, Bingo Battle, oh my goodness, yes, you have no idea how much I love this mode. It's so addictive and unique. I honestly do believe that Bingo Battle Mode is some of the most pure fun multiplayer that gaming has seen in a while. Essentially, two players explore stages and scavenge for objects that are displayed on their bingo card. These would include enemies, fruit, or marbles. You'll claim victory once you form a vertical, horizontal, or diagonal line of icons on your card. Of course, there is a seemingly endless amount of strategy that can come into place here. If an opponent needs an object for their bingo card, you'll try your best to fight them for it or steal it when they're not paying attention. You also have access to at least a couple Pikmin types in your squad, which means even in the battle mode, you'll still be using their unique abilities to your advantage. Purple and white Pikmin return from Pikmin 2 and are also featured in the battle and the challenge modes. Special cherries will randomly appear in the stage, and if you command a Pikmin to take it back to your onion, you'll get a spin on a roulette wheel. These can really change the tide of battle, and they're kind of fun to mess around with. Cherries can send boulders down from the sky to crush your opponents, which, trust me, will result in a lot of yelling. There's also electrical lightning bolts that will stun them. They can even totally reorganize your opponent's bingo card right when they're about to get a bingo, which is probably going to be pretty frustrating for them. Some additional options for Bingo Battle Mode include a victory macaroon, which is kept on your onion. Now, if you tried really hard, you can steal your foe's macaroon and bring it back to your onion, which gives you kind of a secondary route to victory, along with, getting a potential bingo. You can even play with two captains at once, allowing for more multitasking and strategy. Finally, each of the 12 stages will be different every time you play due to the fact they randomize which Pikmin types you'll be playing with, where enemies are, where barriers are set up. It's really cool to see how even playing the same stage more than once will give you a different result. I could go on and on about the multiplayer components in Pikmin 3, but needless to say, I'll be playing Bingo Battle with friends for years to come. So in conclusion, it may come as no surprise, but I really love Pikmin 3. This is Nintendo at its finest, and the long wait has definitely been worth it. I really think this title has something for everyone, and even if you've never played Pikmin before, now is the perfect time to get into the series. I think the Wii Remote and Nunchuck in combination with the gamepad is the ultimate way to play not only a Pikmin game, but really, any real-time strategy game. There's a lot to do in this game, and it always leaves you wanting more, and always leaves you wanting to do better. The additional modes will add in just tons of replay value. Nintendo has recently even announced the possibility of downloadable content, which means that, there might be more worlds or more challenges to explore in the future, and frankly, I think that would be amazing. One of the surprising features that I find myself becoming more and more addicted to is the ability to snap photos using the gamepad. You can move around the controller and look around the world from the captain's perspective. Once you take a photo, you can then post it to Miiverse. I don't know, I just think this is like such a cool, little cute added feature, and trust me, there are some pretty interesting pics that you can take. Pikmin 3 always leaves you with a sense of wonder. You'll think, what's beyond that pond that I couldn't get to? Or what's behind this wall that blocks my path? There's always something you didn't get a chance to check out each day, and the desire to return again and again and continue exploring every little nook and cranny of each world is really fun. Few games are as clever, charming, and packed with content as Pikmin 3, and because of that, TheBitBlock is rewarding the game with a 9.5 out of 10.